Hello friends, so today our topic is view and important property wrappers. Before jumping over there on navigation stack, we will cover these 2 points. These are very important. So first 3.4 till 3.4, what we are going to understand, what is view and body. Body is a computed property inside the view and view is a struct. Functions related to the appearing and disappearing of the view, same like if you are coming from the UI kit, then we will understand like what are the functions, lifecycle kind of things in the view. Data change, on change function, and data submission modifiers. These are important and regular modifiers that we should familiarize at the early stage. And the task modifier for the async work, one more modifier is available for the view. And after that, like we'll try to understand important property wrappers, kind of a state binding, observed object, state object, and environment object. So quickly I will go to the Xcode project and we'll create one project. The name is property wrappers and view. So I'll create it on desktop only. Once we will go inside the skeleton, we know what is the canvas and what is the app lifecycle already. So if any confusion is there, you can just check out the previous videos that will give you more understanding about all basics, and you will be comfortable in this style or the environment. Now today is content view is started from the view. This is the gift we received with this template. So this is a protocol, and if this is view is a protocol, then where it will get add actually. So if I am just adding this view on the class, will it be work? So this is my first question. So it is saying protocol view requirement make view input cannot be satisfied. So basically Swift is saying we need this view on the struct, so it's a value type. So this is the first thumb rule. We need to work on the struct rather than classes for the UI. Now the body. What is the body? Body is require a view, and that will come from here, and all internal things. The library have lots of things, like if you will go to the history, so you will see these all are just inherit from the view. So view protocol is loaded there. So now if I just want to type a text here and I'll say testing, and this is fine, and I just want to know about this view more. So content preview already we just discussed. Now this bootcamp is saying like we need to more closer towards the view, and we need to understand this view, so how it will work and how body will work. So basically this is a body which will just always render with some property wrappers. If data will get changed, this will always render, and the fresh things will be there. So older things will just wrapped with the newer one, and the body always get changed, update, render, re-render, something like that. It will happen once any data will get changed. So basically SwiftUI is a data driven rather than just basic like UI kit. So we have to focus on data driven approach. That's why I just covered all these data driven property wrappers. Now what we can understand is we can just go and check what all modifiers are there, important modifiers are there. So same like UI kit, there is on appear, and on perform. So in this on appear and on perform, like whenever view will appear, on that time I can perform something. So one block I have and I can write something here. So this is my block. One is on disappear, and disappear will be performed one. So whenever view will get disappear, you will notify here, and you can do some logic, business logic, according to your choice. And one is task. So task action and task code also available. So this will be always call, but when it will call we will see. And what is the hierarchy? After that, like on submit is also there. So submit on whenever something will get submit, this will get triggered. So we'll check how it is getting called. And also we need to check on change function. So this required equitable object. So any equitable object you can create. But what will happen if you will create a string value, something like that you will create here, and you want to change this once my application is alive and content view is appeared, on that time I am just changing it. On that time it will give you the error like self is immutable. So SwiftUI, it is good thing. SwiftUI is saying like I am immutable, I can't go with the change inside my original copy, and you can create the copy. So strict is always be immutable, and we will not able to create the object here directly. So what we will do, whether now like if I just want to create the state string, then will it be changed? Yeah. So state is saying basically I am the wrapper, and I am giving the authority that it will be not tightly connect with this struct, and it can be changed, and I'll hold the state of this string value. So this is the thing that if string value is just changing somewhere, please give me the new value with the changing state. So like that we can just gather this one also. So this is the string value. Now I need to run the program. So if I will run, what effects will come over there, we'll see. So I'm running from here. On appear call, on change, changing it, and then changing it will be a value. So this changing it is coming through this one. So on change is called, on appear, first on appear get called, and then on change get called, and after then task is get called. So this is the life cycle. And one more init thing, generally we used to work here with the init as well. So if we are initializing something like that, we can remove from here, and we can say default value will be empty. Now I will print this from this place, and I'll say this is my init. So now what will be the life cycle? So basically if I will just run again, init will be the first person, then on appear will be the second person, and the on change changing it will be the value change will be the third. Any task, if I'm just changing on appear itself, then it will perform the change event, and immediately it will call the on change, and then it can call the task. So this is the whole history. And on the task, whatever async approach, concurrency functions we just want to call, we can call through the view models. That is the thing. Now one more thing I just want to add here, what is when submit will get called. So any submission through like text, some small example I just want to give you, where string text or something like that I just want to create here, and this can be also a state private, and if this is the private thing and this string text I just want to attach with a text field or something like that, and I can say this is my title text or search something. And while searching, I will just say it will always require a state object. Binding, don't worry about the binding, I'll come here. Right now you can simply blindly set $, and you can say string text. So now if anything will get changed here, it will just update the text field. Also it will get called on the onSubmit once keyboard will receive the value of submit, or any button will be there that we will press. On that time we are submitting the value of the text field. So I just want to run the program again. So basically these are small weapons that we need to understand at the very first stage when we are learning SwiftUI. So once we'll be in habit, it will be super strong. So I'll run the project. Once it will start and appear on simulator, we'll try to type something. So this is a ugly search. Controller came here but with a return keyword. So when I will just say tr and then I'll say return, on that time this submit option should get called. So this is the onSubmit, and text field I need to add it on this one, or I can simply remove this thing and I will just call again on text field rather than text. So this is the search field, again tr, and once I'll say this onSubmit, this is getting called. So basically whenever I'm just typing something and submitting it, it is giving me the result. So this is the onSubmit. Trigger function should get called like that way only. So we understood all the functions, modifiers, what we just added here for the basic life cycle of the view, and we can just understand more about the state and binding, observed object, state object, and environment object. We need to understand the property wrappers. So all 4 points, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8 we are going to cover. First we have to understand state and binding. So what is state and binding? State means it will hold the value and it will keep the value inside the heap, and we'll be able to just track the information. Also whenever it will get changed, the body will render. So the state property have direct relation of the binding. So binding is not a source of truth, state is a source of truth. So whenever binding something required, it start with the $, and $sign is saying give me a state. So this is a state symbol. So the previous value, whatever value will be there, that should consider as a state, and binding will hold the value. So what's happening here, suppose this content view is a parent view, and in this parent view I just want to update all places. One more child view I just want to create, and we will see the effect of the state and binding. So this is a child view, and this can be a child view. So this is child, hello world, I'm child, and in this child I'll create a binding property. So binding rule is, if anything is coming from outside state property that will be a source of truth, I will accept that. And this is my duty. If I'm getting change, that means some is toggle. from child is a boolean variable. It don't require any other things like the initialization process. So whenever I just need to add any force value, I can just go in the preview and I can say constant, give me a value. It can be a true or false, whatever you just want to give. So this will be a constant value through this binding, and by that way you can just add the binding. Otherwise you will be not able to add something there, and it will always ask for the state. So at the initial state you can just give the value like that for the preview. So this binding is require a toggle so that we can perform some action and understand the state and binding property style. So child view toggle, and this is a toggle of child view, and is on property will be a binding bool property, and I will say this is my is on property. So now you will be able to see cannot convert the value of type bool, expected type binding bool, use wrapper instead of insert, or insert this $sign. So this is must required, as I told you. So it will say like this is a state binding property, and this is a binding property which will always depend on a source of truth. So source of truth we have to create from the parent. This is a state, and I can say state is toggle from parent, and I can say this is a bool, and I can say this can be a false. Now I just want to introduce a toggle child view, and in the child view I require this binding bool. So that means it's a binding bool. So first rule, this will be a $sign and source of truth will be in front of it. So if I will make it true, then what will happen, we'll see. So this is true now. If so, we can control the situation from parent, and it will get update over there on the child. So this is a child view. Inside the child view, what's happening is toggle from child is calling. Now I just want to see the changes also. So I will say onChange, and we will keep on learning this thing also, and it should be in our habit. And I can say is toggle change of my value, I can print, and this is the child view changes, and you can say this toggle is coming from child view. So new value, whatever value will be there, that will be available in this. Now in the parent, the same replicate, you can do the replication for this, and this is not child, this is the parent. So the new value you can just add up from the parent. Now I just want to make a breakpoint here and there as well. So what will happen if I will toggle, and I'll just disturb this child view inside this only, what will happen, we'll see. So I just want to switch off. So if I will make it, I'll make it switch off. I'll play the app and we'll see the result. So is toggle is saying if I will update something inside the binding value, if I will update, it will update my parent source of truth as well. So the parent source of truth is, in our case, is toggle from parent. So once it will get run, we will try to toggle. So it's taking a little time. We will see what's happening there, and then we'll move forward for observable object and its three property, which is state object and observed object and the environment object. So now child view toggle is switched off right now. I will do the switch on, then what will happen, first it will come on child view, and onChange modifier is called for the child view changed the value, and it is true now. Now it went to the parent view as well. How it went? So cycle happened. Is toggle was a binding property and source of truth was coming from the parent. So this is a child view and this is the parent view. From the parent we pass this is toggle from parent. So now both are connected. So if child view get hurt, the child view is toggle from child, boolean variable will get hurt or get update. It will update the parent boolean property as well. So this is the state and binding relationship, so that we understood, right? So this is pretty clear. Now there is a huge role to use this state and binding property in your SwiftUI day-to-day custom components, or you are making complex UI. There you should use it wisely and very strongly. So this is the first step that we covered. So we understood the state and binding now. Now observed object and state object and environment object, all three things we have to understand together. So it's pretty simple. We will understand them one by one. Again, we will use the same thing, but we'll go some differently, like some kind of different would be there. So this is a state. Now state object, if I need to handle, so we know the MVVM model style pattern. So if you doesn't know about this thing, like please try to understand the first model view model concept and then come here. And MVVM means this is a view and one view model will be there. Their business logic we need to write, and that business logic should handle the things for this parent view. So only the UI or view component should work over there for the view related things. Rest business logic can go into the view model and both can play each other nicely. So view can give instructions to the view model, all the business logics will get update over there on this parent view model. So what I'll do, I'll create a class. I'm creating class. Why? Because I just want to introduce you the observable object. And observable object is a protocol which is created with the any object. Observable object is created observable object is a protocol, and this is a protocol. And once you will go to the protocol, this is any object. Any object means you need to load the class rather than struct. So if I will just make it struct, it will bark for us like it is not a good thing. Non-class type parent view model, because observable object is a any object. So that's why we have added the class here. We have the class observable object, and then also we can add the child view model as well. Now we added those things. What we can do is, I just want to create the same property, or you can say like you can publish. If you don't know about the publish, I can tell you about the publish thing. Like it will this is a wrapper on the top of combine, and this will publish the values. So value means I will trigger the value and creates and published instance with the initial wrapped value. So basically, if I just want the update, any update when value get changed, then I can use the published. So I'll say, I'll give you the difference, like if I will not use published, then what will happen. So suppose I have a variable increment, something like that, and I can make it as a 0. So this is an increment int 0, and what I'll do, I'll say rather than toggle, increment can go inside the child view, and in the parent I can use one text for the text field. And what I can do, I can remove this thing, child view and all, and I'll say, hey listen, one text field is I just want to create on the parent, and this will give me, it will ask a binding property, or one more style of creating text field is a text field. I just want to create text field. This is a title, so search something, and binding can be my binding. So for this I need to create a parent view model, and inside that text is there that should get attached with this text. So what I'll do, state object or observed object or environment object. But why they came again? So can't I create the view model directly? So I'll say always go with the private, because view model should be private for the particular view. And you can say view model, this is parent view model, and parent view model is creating something like this. Then it will give you the it is giving you no restrictions over there, and you can just create it simply, something like that. Now what is the requirement of state object and observed object itself, that we will understand first. So if I will do something like that, text, will it work? No. So cannot convert value of a string, expected argument is binding. Now I know the parent view body is always data driven, and once data will get changed, body should get changed. So how it will notify, like when data should get triggered, and it should be a publisher, or it should be the variable which can give the update always, right? So for this, like either I have to create it as a combined publisher published, so it can be a publisher, always it will notify the user whenever value will get changed. But in our SwiftUI case, directly we can create the state object that will notify user for this view model whenever data will get changed, and this will affect the body and it will directly render. So it will keep informing body that a state object is available, and view model, inside the view model whatever property is connected that is changed, so I should also get render. So this is the thing and internally happening. So now what I need to do is I'll say $ view model and text. Will it go away? We'll see. So now it's happening. Now what I need to do, I need to check the things. So state object, observed object, or any environment object, whatever I'm using, that is my comfort zone, how I'm just using that. So once I came here, I know this is a text field. Now I just want to type something here, and once I'll type something, body should get changed. So if I will run this, the breakpoint will hit there. So right now text field started. I just need to type something here. So I'll come on the keyboard software toggling, and I'll say A, B, C and D. Once I'm doing this, nothing is happening and my data is not getting update here, like body is not re-rendering there, right? So if I will change something, will it update or not? I need to check. So onChange, equitable, what is there? Text. So I'll say please work on the text and give me the information whether it is changing or not while typing. So changing, and I'll say new value. Now we can just say something like this should be good. Command A, Control I. So again I'll rerun the app. Now you will understand the power of published and the state objects and etc. So it is done. I need to just start again. So I'll say R, but it is not calling itself. So my function change is not happening there. So what's the problem? So this is a simple text. It is not informing you. So what you need to do? You need to add a published property here, which will be a combine wrapper on the top of combine, and this published property will make it as a publisher. Publisher means whenever I will get disturbed internally, what will happen once text user will type the text, it will get changed through this state object view model, and this text should get trigger. For the triggering there was no relation and we added the published now, and now what will happen we'll see. So this published will say always like I will get update, and also I will inform to the people those are using me, and if body is required to render, it will also get rendered. So what we can do, just now I have to add A. So you will see now again body is rendering because it is informing to the parent view through this published property wrapper that I have changed. So these yellow part, don't worry about for these yellow things, like they are saying library passed invalid numeric value or something like that. Some other places whatever we return, for this it is giving you the value. Otherwise changing A is calling, and once you will go with on the B, again it will body will re-render, things will be re-render, and changing value will be AB. So it will come, keep on editing, and it will work something like that. So we understood the published wrapper as well. So this is a publisher on the top of combine, and we just made the values get updating, and it is keep informing to the body that if I will get change through the user, I will give you the information, and you can receive this on the onChange and body. So this is fine. Now what I want to tell you is state object we have created so that we can get a binding on the whole object and its properties. So that's why it came as a state object, and we understood the published wrapper, why it is so essential and required. Without that text will not get update. That's fine. So these two rules you can use wisely, strongly for the complex application according to your need. So keep in mind that is the thing, nothing else. Now I just want to tell you if I will make it observed object, will it work or not. So this will work, but generally we don't know about the changes and get the difference between observed object or state object or environment object. So again I'll type A, it will get called, so it is not disturbing you, right? And then I'll say G, so it is calling, and again it is saying age. So what is the difference? Observed object is also fine. Environment object, if you can use environment object, again I'll try to. So environment object is saying I will not create, somebody else will pass me, and I am not a source of truth. So a state object can be the source of truth, same like by state and binding. State was the source of truth and binding was accepting that thing. So binding here something like environment object, so this will hold the source of truth, and source of truth can be the state object. So now we understood, so we need to understand the difference first between state object and observed object now. So we understood the published property that we can add up here, and also we understood the state and bindings. now we can go with the observed and state object difference. So how we can just understand that thing? So for this, we have created a child view model, increment, and this increment goes something like this state. This view model, and this can be a child view model. And once we'll add the child view model here, what you can do, you can remove everything, and you can say one increment child view, a stepper you can create, and you can make stepper from child, and you can say view model dot increment. You can put the value here for the stepper. So whatever increment value we will just update, that we have to give into the title. So whenever the value will get update through the stepper, plus and minus, that will update here. So that is pretty fine, right? Now what I need to do is this child view and this view model is fine. There is no relation of the parent view, but I need to introduce this child view on the parent view, right? There will be a small stepper, and that will be loaded with the 0 value, and that can come on the parent view. So this is a stepper, and this stepper can come on the parent view with the 0 value right now. If I will increase the value or decrease the value, it will affect the title, and also it will give the information to the parent view. So right now this is not published, so how it can be updated, right? So we know the published style. So now I will add the published, and then I will just do this. It is updating. So internally you know very well, body is rendering because of published, data is changed, and increment is now published, and that's why it is changing. Otherwise it will not work out. So super simple it was, and we understood this logic very strongly. Now what we can do is we can go to the parent view, and we can say, hey, listen, parent view, remove your text field is fine, and your something search is okay as well, and you can type your things, but internally you are placing one more child view which have its own step. So now this search is coming from the parent view, and this is coming from the child view, right? So inside the child view, if you want to change or make some color over there, you can just make some colors, and you can say color dot red. So this is a child view, red is a child view, and your text field can be your parent view. So this is the green. So parent view, but on the parent view, child view is added. Now what's happening? Now try to understand the observed object and state object thinking, like what is the reason of the observed object and state object creation. So observed object is basically unowned the parent view. It is not connected with the parent view. State object will always state object will own the view, and what will happen in the state object, if I will create this state object, then it will always remember my older things, and it will not create the new initializer for this view model. So whenever body will get rendered, what will happen? Child view have a observed view model child view. So every time it will create a fresh view model, and fresh view model have a fresh 0 value. So that is pretty bad. What will happen? Once I will change the text field, the text value will get update, and the whole body will re-render. And once it will re-render, child view also re-render. And once child view will re-render, body will re-render, then child view model will update with the fresh value 0, and it will get disturbed because wherever I was, that will convert into 0. So I just want to give you the example of this. Now state object, I created this as a observed object, state object, no matter, because this is a parent. Okay, now on the child view, if I'm making it observed object, what thing will happen? So something like that, I'll make some breakpoints so you will understand the clear idea. So what will happen, I will run the project and you will understand the difference between state object and observed object. So two things are there. In single parent view, search loaded with search, and the child view is loaded with stepper. So from the child view, I'm hitting something, so it is only rendering on the body of child view, and it's re-rendering. Why? Because data driven approach, body is re-rendering, and we are just updating the child view itself, no parent view calling, right? Because we are not disturbing the parent view. Now what will happen, this value is on 2, that should be always sustained, and once I'll try to search something, parent view body will get start rendering. So on that time, this 2 should get maintained. So child started, and once child started, child body is re-rendered, and view model is also completely fresh and set to 0. Can you see? So this is now 0. So this was the thing, that is in the observed object. If I'm making the child view observed object, then this value gone. So it is pretty irritating if I'm typing my name Abhi or something like that on the parent, and wherever I left on the 2, it came on the 0 because body was re-rendering on the parent view, and parent view have child, and inside the child whatever things recreated. So if observed object would be there, then it will get recreated along with the body. So I just want to stop that. So what I'll use state object. Once I'll use the state object, I'll rerun this. So now parent view is calling, child view is initiated, started, body rendered, and I played the child view. I said I incremented by 1, incremented by 2, but I incremented by 2. Once I'll click on the parent view, it will do the same process. It is started and body is right now 2. I will start typing Abhi, A, and it will start it on parent view, and then 2 is sustained, like there is no rendering now, there is no change now, there is no body call now. So Abhi, I type B and H. Now text 2 times call ABH, but no disturbance to my child object, and itself body also didn't call. So that is a good step because of state object rather than observed object. So if I want to sustain and I want to own the view, and I need to control the situation, and I should not call the body rendering again and again when parent is updating something, then what I can use state object. Otherwise I can use observed object. So suppose I'm searching any list and I don't want 2 anymore, and I want the fresh list always, then I can use observed object, so it will be not rememberable, and there that use case will work very strongly with the observed object. But right now state object is in power. So hope you understood the difference of the state object and observed object. State object always own the child view. That means child view will not create again, body will not render anything if state object is there. Observed object would be there, then body will rendered and everything will get fresh. The parent view and child view. we need to create a view 1, and this view 1 will reach till view 3, and it will share something through the environment object, and we'll see how it is working. So on that case, environment object play a big important role. So environment object means sharing the data in between views. So if we are not creating singleton, we should create the environment object which can share the data in between views, and if something will happen to the environment object variable properties, it will get effect till view 1, view 2 and view 3. How? We'll see. And environment object, we are talking for the environment object. This is the last topic, and once you will understand this, you are super strong in the data driven development. So now this is a view 1, and environment object will not directly create. So what you need to do is environment object where user is there, and this user you just want to play in your entire application. That can be observable object. Why? Because environment object, it can create like that, but source of truth it is not. So it required the source of truth, it will give you the error. Please give a source of truth to this environment object. Directly it will not hold the value. So state object I created, and state object is the observed object. In that published property we will create, that can be a name, username. Published, why? Because we know very well what is published, so it will always keep publishing the values. If it will not publish, nothing will happen, and at the view 3 if I will get change something, view 1 will not affect by that, and it will not update the values. So it's quite sensitive, so that we need to understand. So thereby we just added the published on the user state object. Now state object user dot name property will change from anywhere through the environment object. It will get effect with all views those are using this user object through the environment object, right? So let's begin. So this can be a background of color green. So this will be a hello world or view 1, and you can say rather than hello, you can give user or you can give the user information. So user dot name, you can give something like that, and green is a first view. Now what you can do, you can do the second view, that can be the orange one, and username is fine. Okay, we need to see the effects, same like singleton, how it is working. So this can be a pink or something like that. This is there, but user is not available. So I'm saying, hey environment object, listen, now you come in the picture and you should be a user, and user type it required as a observable object, because all three environment object, state objects and observed object are kids of observable object. So user is observable object protocol. Now user have pink, orange and red text loaded with username. Now what will happen here, user is not available. So what I'll say, hey environment object, listen, on the view 2 it can happen, somebody outsider can pass you as a user as an environment object. So he's passing. So I'm saying, hey view 1, listen, you load the view 2. So I will load the view 2, but I have one duty, environment object also I need to load along with this object. So directly the environment object modifier will take the control, and it can pass any generic type of object. So I created this source of truth user, it took this one. So now I'll go to this one and I'll say, hey view 2, you accept view 3 and pass your user which is coming from view 1. Now on the 3, what I'll say, hey listen. So now run the app first, you will see something like that. So on the parent it's demanding me the view 1, I added, and now you can see there is a view, and view have view 1 have view 2, view 2 have view 3. So basically I'm adding, the parent is view 1, child is view 2, and subchild is view 3. So I need to run the app again. I'll run the app strongly. It should give me the information. On the view 1 also I can see the preview. It's taking some time. So this is the view 1. What mistake I'm doing, this is empty. Yes, so that's why it's not showing anything. Now 3 abis are there, and those are loaded here as well and there as well. Now what we can do is, this is view 1, view 2, view 3, and view 1 have all subchilds. So view 2 have view 3. Now I'm changing abi from view 3. It will immediately get effect on all the places. So if I will change this through the task or somewhere, I'll say, hey listen, I'm just changing the use environment object name from abi to iOS code or something like that. All the places it should get effect. So now it is affecting at all places, because what happened, it reached till here, this updated this one. Once this updated, body is updated view 3, and then respected bodies also get affected, because this data driven user environment object was available. Body forced to re-render for the view 2, body forced to re-render for the view 1 as well. So if I will make the breakpoint, you will understand. And source of truth was state object user from starting from view 1. So this is view 2, this is view 3, and then user 3 created as an iOS coder, then view 1 affected at the very first time, then view 2 rendered, and in the view 2 information rendered, and then view 3 rendered. So it went at the very first place where it started, and then body rendered of view 1, then body rendered of view 2, and then view 3 was completed. So this is the environment object that you can use globally for sharing the data purpose. It can be lots of use cases are there, complex use cases are there. You can make big problems strong small solution through the environment object. That depends on you. So thank you so much for watching this. Hope you understood the property wrappers, views, and lifecycle, everything very strongly. So this is for the beginners, and we should understand the basics very strongly first. Now in the next we will focus on the navigation stack, which have these kind of environment object and state objects kind of material will be there, so you should be comfortable. That's why we created this before the navigation stack. Thanks.